We're doing it.
Doing it, man.
We're doing it. We're in Philly. Technically Manayunk, the Brooklyn of Philly.
Is that true?
I don't know. It's the vibes I'm getting.
Okay. All right.
How are
Starting
you?
early with the hot takes.
I am relishing this moment. I was about to curse, and I was thinking of your father and the YouTube algorithm, and I did not curse.
Welcome to Philly, man.
Welcome to Philly. Welcome to Twigg and Jenkins, the final episode before Election Day.
Yeah,
we are in Philly. Not only are we in Philly, Trump's in Philly.
Everybody's in Philly.
Kamala's in Philly.
Lady Gaga's in Philly.
Gaga's in Philly. Taylor might be in Philly.
Who knows?
But more importantly, Carri Twigg is in Philly. God bless Carri Twigg. How are you feeling?
Weeks. I've been here for 5 weeks, and I know about as much about Philly as I did when I got here because I've just been in the office.
You haven't left the field office one time?
Basically.
How are vibes?
Germantown a little bit. Vibes are really good, man. I mean, I think that, you know, there is such an Obama alum ethos that has permeated this organization because so many people from the Obama era came and we like layered on top of the existing infrastructure. And you know how it is. It's like no drama, Obama, plef, like head down. You don't speculate. You don't, you know, just do the thing and execute, run through the tape.
Don't look at the polls.
Definitely don't look at the polls. So there is zero sort of open excitement or everyone's so laser focused and locked in.
No one's celebrating.
No one is celebrating.
Champagne is not on ice.
Absolutely not. But I think generally from now having done this so many times and being on campaigns that have won and being on campaigns that have lost, to me this like full no analytics, full vibes feels like a winning campaign.
Feels good. I think the close has been
spectacular.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good. If we go back in time, let's go back in the Wayback Machine to 2016. The vibes were not good for Hillary. You had the Comey situation.
Oh my God, I forgot.
You had the what was this? Oh my God, Anthony Weiner situation.
Oh God,
all of that stuff dropping.
Hoomer really got the last laugh on that, man.
She really did.
Billionaire.
God bless her. Love Hoomer. Those final 2 weeks were a disaster for Hillary.
I forgot about all of that timeline. Yeah.
These last 2 weeks have been a disaster for Trump.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put it. My man looks tired.
He looks very tired. I need to talk to his bronzer guy because they're not doing it right.
They're not doing it right. And look, we're all tired. I mean, you don't look tired. You look great. I don't understand how you've been working on a campaign. I'm tired.
Dude, the amount of like LED face masks I'm doing, it's so crazy. But everywhere I go, I keep like talking to the people at Culture House in my like actual job who are used to me being one way and have never seen like campaign mode Carri. And then I occasionally hop on calls and they're like, you look so tired. You look so stressed.
Like,
and I'm like,
please.
Guys, I am those things. You don't need to say them.
You don't need to say it out loud. Well, look, you don't look that way now. I was expecting you. This is why I'm dressed. By the way, before we started recording, I was wearing like a Carhartt jacket. Carhartt, what is it?
Oh, babe, we got it. Yeah, we need to edit that correct.
I'm not. Carhartt. No. Let's not. I don't know what Carhartt is. It is technically a Levi's jacket that looks like a Carhartt jacket.
Definitely don't need to be wearing workwear, so that's fine.
Yeah, no, I wanted to portray some kind of a
everyman vibe,
get out the vote vibe. You know what I mean? And then you come rolling up from the campaign office, from the runway of the Kamala office. I see. Yeah,
I was wearing Kamala merch earlier, and I actually debated wearing this Kamala shirt that I'd been wearing. And had we discussed our outfits
we could have
a little
both
bit,
been wearing.
We could have. Not that I thought that I expected you to be wearing a peekaboo dress, but
that would have been great. We could have matched.
I've also maybe been wearing that shirt for 3 days in a row. So it was just sort of like, let me not inflict this on anybody.
No, I appreciate that. I love that so much. It's our final. I know I said on our last pod, I was not going to bring up the polls.
Sure.
And
here we are.
I'm going to bring up the polls because we've been talking about the polls since the first day of our pod. The polls right now, the Real Clear Politics average of the polls could not be closer.
Yeah.
It's so close. It's significantly bullshit. It's so insignificant. And so here we are. We just don't know. It could be a blowout. It could be really close. It could be a blowout on the other side.
Same thing we've been saying for weeks, which I think has been is like the madness making of it all is that it feels as likely that there's a blowout as it is a squeaker win or loss. I will say though, and I said this a lot in private recently, I wish we had another week, because in another week I would be so fully confident and bullish that we were going to smoke him and like absolutely win. That said, I think she's going to win. I think she's going to win way bigger than we...
Oh, you're going to final prediction. By the way,
final prediction.
In my outline, I had final predictions at the end. Let's go. Final predictions.
Final prediction. I think she's going to win handily.
You think she's going to win big?
I think she's going to win big. I don't think she's going to win all 7 of the Battleground states.
How many of the 7? Let's go through them.
All right.
Blue wall. You think she...
I don't know anything about Nevada, to be perfectly honest. I do not feel good about Nevada or Arizona. Like, I just don't know those politics very well. So I got
breaking news for you for Nevada.
Which is?
Our guy, John Ralston, the Oracle of Nevada, the Ann Selzer of Nevada. Everyone's been talking about the Selzer Iowa poll. Hot off the presses, an hour ago, predicts Kamala Harris is going to win Nevada.
Dude, that's wild.
Like, barely.
Yeah, sure.
But yes.
But because of how the Electoral College goes, she could have an Electoral College landslide, and I think that she actually will. So, all right. Yes. So if he says Nevada. I have no idea about Arizona. I think Georgia, infrastructure-wise, we were really worried about Georgia. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but...
You're allowed to say it. I think that is the least likely of all of the Battleground state wins.
So do I. North Carolina is coming online and feeling really good. I think she's going to get Pennsylvania. I think she's going to get Michigan. I think she's going to get Wisconsin.
So you're looking at like, just doing that math in my head, you're looking at like 300.
Yeah, man.
305, 312, whatever electoral votes. Look at me.
Here's what I'm impressed. Can I say that?
Look, I'm on the freaking thing. 271
every day. May not know what
Carhartt
is, but he can do very good math in his head.
I'm kind of proud about not knowing how to pronounce Carhartt. Here we go. Wisconsin's in the bag. My opinion, my humble opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think she ekes out Michigan by like a half a point. I think the Arab American community is pissed. I think that there's still enough of the core Democratic base that she pulls out Michigan.
Yeah, I think UAW has been organizing the hell out of Michigan for her. I think
Labor's pulled out in a big way. I think Detroit, at least from what I'm hearing, is like gangbusters.
Yep.
So I think she pulls out Michigan. Here's my big thing here. Pennsylvania is the only one where I can't predict. And we're here. It's the reason why Trump is doing 4 rallies here. It's the reason why Kamala is doing 4 rallies. They're all here.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is it. Whoever wins Pennsylvania, they are fully in the driver's seat. And so I'm safe Pennsylvania. Arizona, I think she loses. Nevada, I think she wins. North Carolina, I think she might eke out. But Georgia, I think she loses. So my math here is like, we are not going to know who wins this election for 4 days.
Right. Okay, so I wrote down, because I can't commit anything.
Sorry for anyone listening to this podcast. We're not going to know who's going to win. The state of Pennsylvania, and Twigg's going to go through the call times, but also we have to factor in a number of things as we're preparing for this election night, which are every single state counts their ballots differently. And for the state of Pennsylvania, they will not start counting the ballots until election day. Michigan has been counting ballots for 2 weeks. Nevada has been counting ballots for 2 weeks. So Pennsylvania, we're just not going to know who wins Pennsylvania until Thursday, maybe?
Assuming it's super close.
Assuming it's close, which I think we all believe it will be.
And yet, Paulette tweeted, by the way, if we win Pennsylvania,
If we win Pennsylvania,
if we win Georgia, there need to be parades in the street for Paulette Anaskoff and for Gabby C.
God bless. Let's go.
Right now.
Paulette Anaskoff, our former boss at the White House, God bless you.
Who's been running this operation since September, along with a bunch of other people. Credit where credit is due. And
you didn't mention those people, though.
And there should be parades in her honor in the street. But she tweeted on Saturday, I think, that every 2,000 doors were being knocked per minute in Pennsylvania. Like, getting what it takes to get that level of a field organization up and running in an 87-day campaign is nothing short of miraculous. And they've done it in such an extraordinary... You can't go anywhere without seeing canvassers, without seeing people on the doors, without having... I mean, there's millions of phone calls being made. I've been at several campaign offices over the course of the last few days as we're going through GOTV, and they are processing 700, 800, 900 volunteers per canvas shift. Yeah. Like, what is happening? The level of precision, the level of training. I mean, a major kind of area of Philly had knocked all the doors in their universe, had covered all of their turf by 11 a.m. this morning.
We did that, but we remember Obama World. We did that. Obama World in 2008, we ran out of turf to hit. Like, that's how good we were, right? We were just like, you know what? We did it. We knocked all the doors. We've contacted all the people. We know who's going to vote. We're done. We are done with our jobs.
Totally.
It's been since 2008 that we've seen something like this. And Paulette, I think, said she's not seen anything like this ever.
Right. And she's the one who broke the record. Like, she was the field director in, I think, 2008.
12.
In 12.
I think 12. Yeah.
And they were knocking 1 million doors a day. Yeah. Like, she's built this infrastructure. And it's just remarkable. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to be here and wanted to leave Southern Cali and actually be on the ground is because it looks different. It feels different. It builds your intuition for your, like, to process all the information like polls and to process all the news that's happening instead of just sort of hand wringing or doom scrolling that I would have been doing in South LA. I mean, I guess I would have gone to like Arizona or something and canvassed, but to be here on the ground and watch them build and help them build this operation has been such a privilege and so exciting, and also really informs why I think I'm so bullish about her winning.
You should be. I mean, I think, it's such a great point, which is I think most people's interactions with politics are shitty ads during football games, during college football or NFL games that just make you feel bad about yourself and America. Like that is people's
leaders,
casual interaction with politics. Politics is not that.
No.
Politics is what Twigg is describing, which is real people in real communities leading their communities, right? Becoming precinct captains. Like, literally door knocking, literally making sure that everyone has a ride to the polls. Everyone has a plan to vote. And also again, when it's done right, and I'm not saying,
it's not always done right.
It's not always done right. But when done right, campaigns can be really fucking beautiful.
They can be so beautiful. Yeah. And this is the same, and I think I said this before, it's like, this is what human beings are designed for, is to share a common purpose, right? And whether that common purpose is like putting up a barn or gathering food or raising children or singing in a choir or whatever, like we actually are at our happiest and we are at our best when we're collaborating and working together to accomplish a shared mission.
Yep.
And you get that feeling on campaigns when done right, and when that mission is actually about something bigger than one person or one group of people. And it's such an antidote to feeling like the helpless anxiety that so many people that I also talk to who aren't a part of the campaign but are worried about the outcome of the election. Yeah. And it's just like, then get involved. Like the only antidote to that anxiety is to become a part of it. I swear. Like, it changes everything. Even if you lose, you then are like, well, I did something. At least I tried.
Yes. I mean, wow. I want to keep going on our rant here. Well, I'll say a couple of things. One, as much as we love, I'm going to be a Debbie Downer, so just start that music. As much as we love these statistics, I love Paulette, I love everything that's happening in Pennsylvania, we have to remind ourselves that Donald Trump did not have a single fucking field office in 2016, and he kicked Hillary's ass in Pennsylvania. So as much as we love this notion, this idea that knocking doors is kind of charming and Norman Rockwell and feels a little antiquated, we're going to get people out to the polls. We love it because it fills our soul.
Yeah.
Does that actually translate into votes? It did not translate into votes in 2016.
Here's the thing. Though.
Okay.
Don't forget, it was such a different tone and tenor. Like, I actually don't think you can compare 2016 to anything, in the sense that she didn't really run a field campaign. Like, we can call Marlin, who is apparently now running Nevada.
I will say this, there was a volunteer apparatus for sure.
Yeah,
there are staging locations across the state.
They barely did any persuasion. Like, it was so much less robust. We all thought she was going to win, and that was all the data said she was going to win. It was an analytics heavy campaign.
Okay.
And to your point, I don't know. I mean, you're right. It doesn't always work.
I just mean it feels good. It's the important thing to do in this day and age where, as we discussed last week, Trump can go on Rogan and reach 40 million people.
Yeah.
In this day and age, is that really the most strategic use of resources? I would argue that it is. Trump is not doing that. Trump is outsourcing all of this to Charlie Kirk and Elon Musk. That is going very poorly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're reading the accounts of what's happening.
I am.
It's going the opposite of what Paulette just described, but will it matter? We will see.
You're not guaranteed. I mean, listen, nothing's guaranteed. There are things that are aberrations in every election cycle. I think Trump was an aberration. I also think Hillary was an aberration. I think they made, in this election cycle, I was listening to the Daily or something this morning. We've spent $1 billion on TV ads, and I know you have a lot of strong rants against that.
I have a lot of thoughts about TV ads. I think TV ads are great for the ad people buying their second or third boat.
Sure.
I think TV ads is just a complete waste of money.
Yeah. And $1 billion were spent this cycle on TV alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the last 87 days. So would I rather have TV versus knocking on doors? I'd 100% rather spend my money on knocking on doors.
By the way, anyone who's listening to what I'm saying needs to know I am the biggest...
You're such a hater of TV ads, for sure.
No, I'm not even the TV ads. I'm saying I am the biggest hook, line, and sinker stan of knocking doors. I truly, truly believe that this is how we win elections. I'm just bringing up the stuff that Democrats, we sometimes don't want to look in the mirror and say,
totally,
this doesn't necessarily translate into a win.
Yeah.
With that said, no, go for it. Twigg is doing double duty. I'm just going to go through, because I think for folks watching at home, Twigg and I are in Manayunk. As I mentioned before, I'm calling it the Brooklyn of Philly.
Is he saying that right?
It's probably not
Manayunk?
right. Yeah. Oh, look at this. See, the crew agrees. Trump is in Reading as we speak. Kamala is in Allentown, crisscrossing. Then Trump is heading to Pittsburgh. Kamala is also heading to Pittsburgh. This is all in one day, y'all.
Yeah.
All in Pennsylvania. So when Twigg and I say it all comes down to Pennsylvania.
Every media market, baby.
All comes down to Pennsylvania. They are both here in Pennsylvania. They are both crisscrossing each other. Kamala and Trump will be in Pittsburgh at the same time. Katy Perry will also be in Pittsburgh. It's an interesting choice. Very circa early 2000s of Kamala, but something else. JD Vance is heading to Newtown. And then Kamala is closing out. Trump, very low energy Trump, is just closing out Pittsburgh at 6 o'clock. He's not even making his way.
Bedtime.
Not even making his way to Philly. Kamala is coming to Philly. She'll be, listen to this lineup. This is a dope lineup. Lady Gaga, The Roots, Oprah, Fat Joe, DJ Jazzy Jeff, who, by the way, Carri Twigg did not want to book for a party that we did.
And I stand behind that choice.
Doesn't
mean he's not a great DJ. We were trying to have... Why are you inviting a 60-year-old man to DJ a party that's about introducing a new cultural moment into a new generation of leadership into the Democratic Party?
I love you. I'm just giving you shit. I also love DJ Jazzy Jeff, and he'll be there at Fat Joe.
So do I. Just not everyone's for everything. You know what I mean?
I know. He made the list, is what I'm saying. He made the list with the Roots, Oprah, Fat Joe, and Ricky Martin. They're doing this concert rally at the Philadelphia Museum of the Arts. This is the Rocky Steps, which is absolutely incredible. Also, the crew here in Manayunk just told me that it's going to be an absolute shit show getting in and out because there's like one road to get in. So for folks going, I mean, you're not going to see this before this goes, but God bless you.
Yeah, there's no need to give traffic alerts.
God bless you. And then last but not least, there are rumors. Carri Twigg, what are the rumors? Walk me through the rumors about Taylor Swift.
Well, I think everyone's freaking out that Taylor Swift might be making an appearance.
Why do we think that that's true? Why do we think that she might be making
She's a Pennsylvanian.
Sure.
People love her. She's apparently not on tour right now or something.
What's her private jet tracker say?
Oh, there you go. Get that tail number.
Let's get that tail number.
Put it in the thing.
So
here's what I wrote down for the gang. Because it is, so we know that this is, I mean, everyone's speculating about how long this is going to take to be called. And that's huge. A huge part of that is how close it is, right? So like all of this could be moot if in fact she blows him out of the water or vice versa. But so the earliest dates that we think we're going to know, as in, 6, 7 o'clock on tomorrow night, are Florida, Virginia, Ohio, Colorado. Depending on if they're close, we'll also maybe know or have some inkling in Georgia and North Carolina. And so those are like the first 2 battleground states that will come in and give us some sense of what's actually happening. By the end of the night, we'll have partial numbers.
End of the night meaning what, like Eastern time?
End of the night, midnight.
Okay.
Midnight Tuesday. We'll have partial numbers, if not whole numbers, from Georgia, North Carolina, maybe a little bit of Michigan, and partial numbers from Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Arizona. Wednesday AM, we'll have most of Wisconsin.
Yep.
Most to half of PA,
yep.
A lot of Michigan, and then Wednesday into the end of the week is when we get Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada.
Yep.
So in several states, people can do what's called curing their ballot. So if they didn't sign it, they didn't date it, they put it in the wrong envelope, then they have a couple days where they can go and correct any potential mistakes. Pennsylvania is one of those states where you can do that. And so each campaign, I assume the Trumps have this, but certainly our team, the Harris campaign, has a massive sort of voter ballot curing operation.
Right.
So the boards of elections will flag for voters, hey, you didn't do this right. You have an opportunity, a limited window to come and correct your ballot. The campaign can also get that data because it's public data. We'll help out. We don't know who they voted for, but we'll help out and say, hey, mama, like you need to go do this thing. And we'll try and get as many ballots in that way as humanly possible. In Nevada, absentee ballots can arrive until the 9th of November.
Yes.
So that's 3 days longer. So they're still, depending on how many ballots will be chased, and depending on how close it is, that could be a massive, that could be telling. And as we know, in Pennsylvania, they don't start counting ballots until day of, and they don't start counting provisional ballots, which are the ballots that people cast if you forgot your ID or your signature looks weird or you haven't voted. And they're just like, we assume that you're all good to go, but just in case, we're going to give you the special ballot because you have to have a second look. We're going to take a second look at your registration. Those ballots don't even get started to be counted on until the 8th.
Yeah.
And so again, if it is not close in any way, those numbers go a lot faster.
Right.
If it is really close, then we could be stretching into the 8th, the 9th, the 10th before we have a meaningful sense of who's winning and who will be the next president of the United States. And this goes into that thing where every state, for people who don't know, every state has their own election process.
Yes.
It sort of has their own right to have different guidelines about how you can vote, if there's early voting, early in person, absentee, do you need your ID, all of these different things. And so it's not a sign of there being something wrong with the election process. It's not a sign of there being dysfunction or fraud or anything. It's just like different strokes for different states.
Yes.
And that results in a relatively convoluted and kind of complex process.
Yes. It seems chaotic. It seems disorganized, but it is organized. This is the way
super organized.
This is the way the system is set up. States decide how they're going to run their own elections. And this is going to be like this might be a clippable moment. I might get a little bit fired up here.
Let it rip. What do you got for us?
Before the night closes on election night, which if you're watching this is probably today because we're going to post this, Donald Trump is going to say that he won.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen. We know for a fact it's going to happen. He's going to be up because of all the things that Carri Twigg just mentioned. These results are slowly going to creep in. It's going to say in all of these states, like Pennsylvania, like Michigan, like Wisconsin, too close to call. But it will say too close to call, Donald Trump up by 100,000 votes. Too close to call, Donald Trump up by 20,000 votes. Too close to call, Donald Trump up by 30,000 votes. In all of these states, Donald Trump on election night is going to tweet, "We won. I've announced that we have won." Elon Musk, who now owns Twitter, is going to say, "We won." News agencies, irresponsible news agencies, are going to say, Donald Trump claims that he won. All of this is going to happen. Democrats, independents, progressives, normal people, you just have to hold on to your butts. In the words of Samuel L. Jackson in Jurassic Park, you just have to hold on to your butts. Do not freak out. Do not say, "We lost. We lost. How did we lose?" This is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So many spineless, fucking weak-willed Democrats are going to start believing in it. It's going to happen. We're all going to be like, "Oh, he beat us again."
Stop it.
Let's just have a little bit of a spine. We know it's going to happen.
Such a hot take.
It's such a hot take. Let's have a little bit of a spine. And more importantly, to the lawyers, like, God bless Mark Elias, God bless Marina Jenkins, God bless Eric Holder. They're ready. They're ready.
Yeah.
They're ready for this. The Trump campaign has already filed. I mean, there's already like 100 lawsuits already on on this election, on voter rolls, like wanting specific communities thrown off voter rolls, on when ballots can arrive and be counted.
Yeah.
In fact, they've won in Mississippi that they can't. Mississippi, like Nevada, you can count the ballots past the election day.
Yeah.
They just won a ruling saying that they can't do that. So there's going to be so many legal battles throughout the week. Do not lose faith. Don't fall victim to the cesspool of your newsfeed. Drink a couple Guinnesses, or if you're in Pennsylvania, like drink a Yingling, take a deep breath, and realize that we have to count every single vote. Every vote has to be counted.
Yeah.
All right, my rant is over.
All right. End scene. Okay, wait a second. Okay, let me ask you this.
Okay.
While you're hot.
While I'm hot and bothered. Just chill the fuck out, America. Just chill the fuck out. I know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
I think you're right. He inevitably declares victory. That's El Clasico.
And it'll be late at night. I'm not saying he's gonna call it before. It'll be like
caps,
10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night.
All caps.
It'll just be like, "We've won." I mean, I can also see him just tweeting, "We won."
Yeah.
And then people will be like, "What does that mean?" Right?
Sure. What do you think she should say? On election night, she's throwing a big rally on the Howard University campus.
Yeah.
What do you think she should say?
Count every vote. Count every mother effing vote. Because every single one of those people that stood in line for hours, this is the other thing that Republicans are very good at doing. There are going to be long ass lines in Georgia. There are going to be long ass lines because of voter suppression in parts of the country where they're limiting the number of voting locations because they want to make it as hard as possible to vote in Arizona, right? In Maricopa County. Like there were lines in Maricopa County that were 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Right? In the Black and Latino part of town. In the white part of town, it's like people are just rolling up and voting, right? So every single one of those people that are waiting in line to vote needs their vote counted. So we just need, again, hold on to your butts. We have to wait, like count every vote. Every single one of those votes matter. And I do think that, tomorrow night, I think that the Kamala campaign does need to be careful because she should not feel like, during her election night rally, which will be in my neighborhood, by the way.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
Go?
It's crazy. I mean, like we can walk to it practically. It's in DC at Howard University. Maureen will be in the boiler room with Eric Holder. I will be with my kids drinking heavily. Maybe I'll walk over. I don't know. I RSVP'd, but we should not feel sad if she can't do a victory lap tomorrow night. I think she has to be determined. I think all of our friends who have platforms, I think all of our friends who are out there, all the surrogates that have been with you should maybe just give them a heads up. Count every vote. Count every vote. Do not be Americans right now like, we want everything instantly. You know what I mean? Like we want our Uber Eats order. We want our, I don't know. We want everything instantly. And it's just not going to be like that tomorrow.
I mean, again, unless there's a blowout. But I do think.
True. Oh my God. By the way, what if there is a blowout and then this entire sequence is just Brad losing his mind before the election?
Brad being the voter he was chastising in his rant. Hold on to your butt.
It's like, Brad, she won by 80 electoral votes. Remember when Brad lost his mind the day before the election?
If it feels like that's the way it's headed, I'm getting on the train. I'm going to go pick your drunk ass up and we're going to go to Howard.
We got to go.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'll be an opportunity for her to basically start her presidency.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because no matter what, he's going to continue to be antagonistic towards her. I think we have no indication that we should, and therefore should have no expectation that he will accept the transition of power.
He will absolutely not. Let's be clear.
I think we should be very clear-eyed about the fact that there will probably be a lot of his supporters that don't accept a transfer of power or don't accept her election, whether or not that turns into violence, whether or not that turns into civil unrest. I think we have yet to see. And so to your point, I think there does need to be caution both on her part, but also an opportunity for her to start rebuilding the culture around how we talk about this moment in time.
Yes.
And how we bring people into the fold and who they will listen to and how we can make some peace and reconcile this acceptance that this is what happens in a democracy. Sometimes your candidate doesn't win.
Yeah.
And as she has done in her speeches, the commitment to being president for everyone, even if you voted, no matter whether you voted for her or not, that all needs to be very, very heavily on display.
Yeah.
It's I understand she won a contest and she will have won a campaign and you want to crow about that and you want to play the victor. I don't know that that's going to be her opportunity.
I don't think that's going to be her vibe.
That's going to be what the inauguration is for.
Yes.
Election night and in the immediate days and weeks after, I think it needs to be very sort of somber, not somber, but sober.
Agreed.
And clear-eyed and precise leadership.
I love everything that you just said because I have not even allowed myself to imagine just a clear win. Because a clear win, okay, let's go down this track because you can just delete everything I said. Delete everything I said.
Nimble, and I like that.
If it's close.
You're so nimble.
If it's a clear win, here's also what will happen with Donald Trump. He will say that the election was stolen. He will say that it's rigged, stop the steal. So I agree with you. There needs to be a certain level of sobering confidence and a gratefulness and a thankfulness and not giving into whatever he's saying.
Yeah.
Don't even give him the oxygen.
Yeah.
You're president of the United States now. You're president-elect. Do not even focus on him. Focus on the American people. Because you're right. Like in Washington, D.C., there are images. We just drove by it a couple days ago. Every downtown business in Washington, D.C. is boarded up. All around the entire perimeter of the White House, all boarded up. Like, D.C. is ready.
That's
and
wild.
Prepared for violence. They're ready and prepared for violence. So she has to.
Wild.
And I think, again, God bless the way that they've been closing this campaign. I've been critical of the campaign. I think they're closing it. The SNL appearance was so dope. Like, just all of these things have been really good.
Yeah.
The one thing I loved, her last rally, she did not mention Trump's name one time.
Is that true?
One time.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is incredible. 2, she made, I think, a dozen references to I am everyone's president. I am everyone's president. Didn't even say Trump's name. So this is going to be a moment, y'all. Like, this is, there's no other way to put it. This is a last gasp of white supremacy and fascism. And also just idiots, just like grifters.
I'm 100% not ready to go that far. I'm 100% not ready to go that far. I think it's a last gasp of like truly incompetent.
Yes. Oh,
grifters.
Very good point. Very good
point.
Like,
he's not good at this.
Yes. Good point.
Like, he's so good at so many things. I've said this before. Like, Donald Trump has an incredible like intuition for things, but the shamelessness, the boundarylessness, the volatility is his detriment. Like, the same thing that makes him really good, which is this willingness to be hyper present and like live in the moment, that impulsiveness also is his downfall. Like, so many of us, like, so often the best things about us often become the worst things about us in other ways.
It's like our greatest power becomes our greatest weakness.
Absolutely. Yeah. But there's a version of him, and I think we saw JD Vance display it during the VP debate, which he's like, no, I can make this all seem perfectly reasonable and rational, and I'm a Harvard educated or Yale or wherever the hell he went to school, Ivy League, OSU, baby. But he's an Ivy League educated, like, debate Silicon Valley dude who can make things incredibly elegant, right? And he can make things seem reasonable. And even if he's espousing the same ideological framework, that is actually what is objectionable about Donald Trump. Like, I don't like Donald Trump's demeanor. I think it's below the office of the presidency, but I'm much more concerned about like the policies that he would enact.
The content, not the presentation.
And so the content, if they just package it up in a more elegant and socially acceptable frame, like, that's actually, I don't think, going anywhere. And that still upholds a lot of those values of supremacy or whatever. And like, that I don't think is going away.
Very good point. You're right. The incompetent version, you're right. That's not going away. Because you know what? Vivek Ramaswamy's
this is what I mean.
Around. Tulsi Gabbard. God bless you, Tulsi.
Why are they all coming from Ohio?
I know,
don't say God bless you, Tulsi.
I mean, we used to be
just
friends.
Because she's...
I love Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard.
Do you still have her phone number?
Yeah.
When's the last time you texted her?
It's been a minute, but I know her husband. I saw him at Sundance. Anyway, and then...
What's he make of all this?
Her husband, Abraham? Well, he's her DP, so he's filming every one of her very, very beautiful ads. In fact, the closing ad for Trump had Tulsi. Did you see this ad? It was weird. It was Trump, Tulsi, Vivek Ramaswamy, and was it Elon? Like, just a very rare, very interesting choice, because I think that they are also smelling what he is giving off, which is the rallies are half filled. Yeah. He has lost it a little bit.
Yeah. The inflating of the mic was a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's happening there? So anyway, very interesting spot. But no, they're sort of using these voices to do exactly what you're describing, right? And JD was in the video as well, right? Like, how do you clean? It's like JD Vance and these people are like, they're like Trump whisperers, and they're translating the incompetence into a palatable form of fascism, right?
And there's still the Trumps themselves, right? There's still Don Jr. There's still Ivanka. There's still, you know, like, I don't know. I think that we are, you know, we're not off the hook. No. This might be like a Hydra situation. Like, you cut off one head, but another one. I like there's still a few to.
I thought that was a Marvel reference for a minute.
No, Greek
way more advanced. Way more advanced
we made
reference.
An outline because we were like we're tight.
We are tight. So we've not really talked about, I just referenced the Comey of it all in the final weeks. It was not for lack of trying. This Trump campaign, the number of random misinformation, smear, lie campaigns that they tried and failed. And I'm going to go through them.
Let's do it.
My favorite, with a bullet, Candace Owens goes down a rabbit hole and tries to prove to the American public that Kamala Harris is not black. That happened. That was a whole thing. If you don't know who Candace Owens is, if you've not been following it, this is what Candace Owens has been doing to her 8 million followers each and every single day.
But
that's
like,
been happening.
Her father's alive. Like, we can go talk to Mr. Harris.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. I know. But
like he's like a family friend because my uncle. No. Because my uncle's the chancellor of the University of the West Indies.
Oh.
Where he is the like dean of economics, and he was. Anyway,
well, you should.
But he's like around.
You could have just helped Candace figure this out. You could have gone on her podcast and helped her figure that out.
Can you imagine? She'd look at my ass and be like, "You're not black either."
Exactly. Candace Owens. So that was number one. Number two, Doug Emhoff apparently beats his ex-wife. That was a thing.
Girlfriend. Slapped his girlfriend across the face. This was a whole thing. If you were on Twitter, there are hashtags. There was an entire smear campaign to try to say that Doug is like, I mean, come on, it's Doug. Let's just be real. But that Doug was some kind of serial domestic abuser. And they didn't feel in any way exposed to the irony that the candidate that they were supporting instead of Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff is a serial abuser of women. Yeah. Okay, cool.
That was that.
Moving on.
The Tim Walz China. Did you see this new one?
Well, that he wasn't in Tiananmen Square.
No.
That came up in the debate.
We got a new one.
Tell me.
Tim Walz went in China, dated a girl.
Good for him.
And her father worked for the Communist Party.
Don't they all?
This is my point. This was a whole thing.
Doesn't everybody?
Tim Walz dated a girl.
Okay.
They found her. They interviewed her.
What'd you say?
They said they said that she actually did say they like made a lot of love.
Yeah, good pipe.
She said she blew my back out multiple times. No, she was very fond of Tim Walz. This was a conspiracy.
He was a real gentleman.
He was a real gentleman. He was a giver. You know what I mean? Like, he was generous. That was a thing that the Republicans tried. Did not work.
Okay.
None of it worked.
I didn't even hear about you.
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you.
Really
but it's so funny. What you just said was the response on the internet. Because there's photo of Tim, like looking kind of cool. He's like, he's like in his, I don't know, 30s.
Yeah.
I don't
Chasing
know.
the dragon.
Yeah. I don't know if that's racist or not. I love it. Chasing the dragon.
I went to high school with this guy named Mitch. He's a good friend of mine. He like exclusively dates Asian chicks.
Oh, yeah.
And when we were in high school, it probably was racist. Probably shouldn't repeat it here, but we always
called it. Too late. It's too late.
We call him the Dragon Slayer.
Too late. Oh, the Dragon Slayer. Look, that's the name of this episode. The name of this episode is
is the final episode of Twigg.
Final episode of Twigg Jenkins. The Dragon Slayer.
Twigg gets recast.
The Dragon Slayer. So given all that, so the other huge piece of news, all of that's trying, they're trying to just dirty her up. Didn't work. And then meanwhile, Ann Selzer,
the Iowa Oracle,
Des Moines Register, the Iowa Oracle, the same Ann Selzer that called Barack Obama winning in 2008, and every single person thought that she was crazy.
Nuts, yeah.
Every single person was like, "Wait, but you do know that there are no black people in Iowa." That was literally like,
aside from the time that Barack came.
That was the response. People were like, "Man, I don't know if you know much about our state. He's not going to beat Hillary Clinton." She was right. She was right. She does it again. She calls Kamala Harris beating Donald Trump in Iowa. The whole, our world just gets turned upside down overnight.
I mean, my phone
fully
blew up.
Fully turned down, upside down. The ramifications or sort of all of the adjacent states. So Wisconsin, all of these states that have very similar voter demographic profiles, which are largely white, a lot of women, right? Like that poll was just a testament to women saying, "Fuck you, Donald Trump.
Dude, I know.
Fuck this abortion ban. We're voting for Kamala Harris." And this is the kind of thing, again, I would so much rather, a reporter called me this morning, not to be named, and I can't name, and was just like, "Brad, like, tell me how you feel," because he knows I've been bedwetting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've been sending him links too.
Because I've been sending him links too. I've been sending 35 people in my life all of the same links. So, he knows I can't sleep. But he was just like, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? And all I said was, I was like, I don't know if she's going to win, but I would so much rather be her than him right now.
Oh, totally.
It's not even close.
Totally. For so many reasons.
For so many reasons. But she has so many pathways to victory.
Yeah.
She has all of this enthusiasm. People are fired up. And my man is like operating off of fumes, But who knows?
No, he seems really tired. seems pretty bummed. Seems really tired. I almost took a video for you, but then I thought it would be boring. No. I actually did watch his speech yesterday somewhere, maybe 2 days ago. But I have, in the course of his time, over the life of his political career,
right,
I have probably watched 30 to 40 minutes of him
total. Cumulative.
I read the transcripts of his State of the Unions and of his inaugural speech, but I don't need to watch it. It's just I don't need those images in my head. And I'm a reader anyway. Mm-hmm. But I watched him give a speech. I don't remember where it was, but he was in some, airport hangar somewhere. It was, I actually really want your dad. I want to have your dad on the podcast.
He's got to come.
And I want to watch a rally with your dad, because I was thinking about him the whole time. And I was just like, now what are you picking up on that is attractive to you? Like, honestly, I'm genuinely curious, because I don't get what you're seeing here. Because this man isn't good at this, and not in the sort of charmless way that he was nervous or whatever. Isn't like he didn't seem like he was that particularly interested in it and what he was saying. He was just sort of like, it was aimless and sort of uninteresting.
He's been like some of these. I think I might have watched the same rally. Like near the end, he was kind of upset. He was just kind of like, "What are we doing here?" Yeah, he was like, "What's going on? What
are you doing, bub?"
Yeah.
I really genuinely was just like, if I'm the guy in the back, or if I'm at this rally, how does my affection, belief in this person endure? this performance. Like, I once went to a John Mayer concert in Columbus, Ohio, and he came out and the first thing he said was that he was going to cancel because he didn't feel like it. And then he heard it was sold out, so he figured he had to be here. And I've never listened to a John Mayer song since.
Wow.
So I didn't even have to abandon ship when he said all that crazy shit about black women and Playboy. Like, I was already off the,
You were
I was
already off
out.
the John Mayer train.
And I've never forgiven him. But it's just like your relationship a performer has with an audience is a real thing. And I don't understand how it endures when they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Why? So if you don't want to be here, why am I here?
Yeah. The rallies have been a huge disappointment. I mean, I think there's a viral video that was posted yesterday where Trump's on stage and in the microphone, he's saying, "We never have empty seats, ever." And then what does the cameraman do?
Obviously.
Pans up, pans to the left, all empty, like all empty seats, right? So,
has your dad gone to a rally?
no, my dad, no, my
Just
dad
about the
doesn't.
border.
My
He's
dad
just
doesn't
worried
go
about the
to.
border.
My dad doesn't go to anything. I think we should just be careful. The rallies, the Trump rallies, had a moment. They were a thing.
Sure.
Right? Especially in 2016, they were a thing.
I get that.
Even in 2020, during the COVID era, he was still doing them because he was like, I don't care.
It was the only party you could go to.
It's the only party you
in
can
town.
go to. It's the only place you can go and, you know, just get COVID with, 20,000 other people together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that is not the reason why people are going to vote for Donald Trump. It's not his
I don't
performances
necessarily disagree.
in rallies,
Yeah,
right?
I get that.
Speaking for my father, if I could invoke my dad for a second, like the reason why my dad loves Donald Trump is because my dad doesn't believe or trust any politician at all, ever. That's just his experience. That's his experience growing up in a segregated South. That's his experience dealing with the federal government. That's his experience working for the U.S. Army. That's his experience being a black man in America. He does not trust the government. Donald Trump, the more Donald Trump is crazy and is not respectable, the more my dad loves him.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, and there are a lot of people that feel that way. There's just there's no quitting him. You know, it's like, there's like those old timey movies where like, I try to quit you. I try to quit you, Mary Lou. Just can't do it. Like, that is the way my dad feels about Donald Trump. There's nothing Donald Trump could say.
Okay.
Where my father and my mom too, my mom also, Korean immigrant, loves her some Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Loves her some Donald Trump. Even though I think if Donald Trump's policies were to be enacted, chain migration, I think my mom is awful. Yeah. I think my mom is deported. I think my mom is thrown out of this country. But it doesn't matter. My mom still ride or die.
Oh, what a nightmare.
Ride or die.
I get it as a public figure, but like as president, like, can't he do something else? Why don't we give him a television show that's like being president?
True. I think if someone sat him down and was like, you know what?
Like, we'll get you a plane.
I was just going to say, we're going to give you a model White House. Doesn't Tyler Perry have like a model?
Somebody does. Kid Rock, somebody does.
In Atlanta, he has like a set because he shot that whole show.
Great, he can show up. DJT can show. We'll book it. We'll book it out.
We'll book it out. You get to play the president on Fox News or Fox Nation. Don't they have like a show or a channel that's not
Sure, if
news?
not, why not?
You know what I mean?
If not yet.
And the ratings are going to be great, you know? And you get to pick your co-star. And this can be your life. I think he'd be fine with that.
And, it's just an easier life.
It's an easier life. It's an easier life. Carri Twigg, you have to get back to the campaign office.
I know. Have we made it anywhere near the way
we did? We actually, this is the reason, this is how I know we're good at podcasting. We hit every single thing. We hit every single thing on our outline. We're now we're at the end of our outline, which is, what are the, all eyes are on Pennsylvania. What are other things that you're watching other than Pennsylvania? We talked a lot about Pennsylvania. Are there states, Ohio? There's a really important Senate race in Ohio.
Senate race in Ohio, Sherrod Brown. I'm obviously tracking that. That's my guy. Texas Senate race for sure. The 10 ballot initiatives around abortion rights.
Yep.
And I think it just like my general political science nerd brain is really interested in how these demos break down. Like, is the gender divide in this election going to be as stark as people are predicting?
Yes.
There's this weird thing. I was texting a friend about this a second ago. And he and I were talking, like, if Donald Trump is the person who fundamentally reorganized the American electorate into being divided around class and education level instead of by race, like that'll be a wild thing. Like if there is sort of
do we think that that's a positive thing?
Not necessarily. I mean, yes and no, right? I think everything it's too big of a thing to be in a binary, but I think it'll be really interesting if you actually have a Republican Party that is majority working class, is a multiracial working class party, and then you have a Democratic Party that is a college educated middle and upper class multiracial party. Like that'll be really fascinating and really like challenges my own personal orthodoxy around why I've been a Democrat my whole life. Like I've been a Democrat because I'm working class, because I'm pro-union, because I'm all of these things. And in my head, the Democrats have always been the working class people's party. And the shift, I think, in the neoliberal era, particularly the Clintons accelerated it, but Barack Obama being a tech optimist in all the ways that he was, like Democrats have become the party. I think it's really difficult to push back on the idea that the Democrats are not the party of the elites.
They are.
You know, they absolutely are. And that makes me really uncomfortable. Like, I don't consider myself of that ilk. I don't think that that's a great thing. And so...
And it's a relatively new phenomenon.
Exactly.
Like, even when we were in the White House, right? There was a Republican elite, right?
100%.
A Paul Ryan, Pearls,
but like the Bushes,
like
and
rich
Texas
country
oil
club,
money.
club Republican, Romney, like all of these guys. Like there was a refined, college educated, went to Yale, or not even go to Yale. Like we have a lot of money, we are sophisticated,
totally.
We run this Republican Party. And Donald Trump just literally just shat over all of that.
Right.
And none of them are there anymore.
Right.
Like they're all gone. All of those people, all those country club Republicans, gone.
And then, but both parties have been so captured by Wall Street and been so captured by sort of big business and by tech. And so that is something I'll be really interested in. I'll be really interested in what the actual union household breakdown ends up being, not just like industrial versus private public sector unions.
How do you think it will break down? You are the union guru here.
Well, I think that I think it'll be, I want to get the numbers by membership, right? So it's like, we know what political, like the leadership of these unions are doing, but like, what's the actual rank and file? How are they breaking? I think they've been breaking towards Trump and towards Republicans for years and years anyway.
So that trend line will just continue.
I think it'll continue and accelerate. Public sector unions, teachers, healthcare workers are pretty solidly Democratic. So those are things that I'm just interested in as someone who thinks about America and the people and Americans and like is interested in that. And just sort of what all of what that means for us moving forward. I think no matter what happens, there is a lot of reflection that the left needs to do about what it has allowed to happen, about who we are, what we represent, who we represent, how we're going to move through the world, the candidates. Like there needs to be like a very real, like take it down to the studs and rebuild. And
there needs to be a bit of a bit of a reckoning, a bit of a reboot, if you will. I think that I'm excited by that. I think with Joe, as we discussed, I think we needed a return to normalcy. I think America needed a return to normalcy. America was not ready for something new and fresh. America was like, like, let's just get back to the basics.
A lot's happened.
Lots happened here.
Lots happened.
Let's get back to basics. And I agree. I think that regardless of what happens tomorrow night, we are so behind, I think, as Democrats. What I am focused on is the youth vote, because what's happening, and God bless a lot of my friends who run these youth groups, but like, there's so many leaps of logic that are happening with the youth vote. it's, you know, the youth vote numbers look really good. They look good in Georgia. They look good in North Carolina. They look good in, you know, in Michigan. But again, those youth vote numbers might be white male voters, right?
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
youth vote numbers might be a part of this manosphere, this low propensity vote that Trump is counting on, like running the score up with. So you can't just count the youth vote. In elections past, I think you can always count youth vote.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a Democrat. And so that is the one thing I'm going to be interested in. If youth vote numbers are where they are and Trump still wins, I think that Democrats, look, I love all my Democratic Party brethren.
Not all of them, but
no, I know, but I mean it. I mean it. I love all of you guys. The lack of imagination, the lack of investment, the lack of commitment and purpose to building some level of creative, any kind of leadership for young people leads to what is happening right now with young voters flocking to Trump. And God bless, honestly, like God bless Kamala Harris being at the top of the ticket, because if not for that, I think young women would have done the same. I think that this is God bless the fact that Biden dropped out. I don't think Biden could have won. I think the only way that Kamala wins is that women in that Seltzer poll, women are just like, fuck this noise.
Yeah.
Let's go. And that includes young women, because young women are not falling for Trump. Yeah. Right. But young men are. And that's across every racial background. It's not just white men. It's black men. It's Asian men. It's Latino men. It's multiracial men.
Totally.
And Democrats just have to get our shit together to figure out, like, what is the strategy with young men?
Well, and like earn their trust
and
or
earn their trust,
their vote, you know. But I think I don't know. I think that if it had been Biden and Trump, I think it would have just been a much lower turnout election. I think so many people just would have stayed home.
I agree with that.
I think there's still a chance he would have won, because I do think we're about to see tomorrow how dramatically animating a force the Dobbs decision actually is. I know I said this last week, and I've said it to you a lot privately. I just think these legislators and the men that control the Republican Party underestimated how clear and focused women, and how like certain and in on the hack we are.
It's true.
That the only reason we have power is because we can have birth control, we can have abortions, and we can use IVF.
Yes.
And like, you threaten those three things, and then I don't get to have the life that I want.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
And women know that. And I just think that they misplayed their cards so badly around this issue. And so I think that would have insulated Joe a little bit.
It would have been harder for him, though, because he was not talking about reproductive freedom.
But I actually think that would have made him even potentially, it wouldn't have energized people, but I think it would have held the line for people who are like, I don't like the idea of abortion.
Right.
And the fact that Joe struggles with it is actually,
that's
as a Catholic.
Yeah, that's
like, he actually has a compelling story, I think, to tell around it. It's not going to fire up young women who think that, like, get out of my business and get out of my life. But for sort of your suburban mom who's just like, I don't like the idea of it.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to go away. I want you to be able to have options, but let's reduce it. Like, let's try and prevent that from happening, you know? And I think Joe is much more akin to that sort of argument.
I like that point. Yeah.
I don't know that would have been the right read of the culture in the moment. We're obviously seeing a lot of enthusiasm going her way because she's so vocal and has turned it into a different type of moral issue. Right? Like, her entire line that if
it's freedom.
It's freedom, right? So
it's freedom. It's her whole campaign.
Her whole campaign.
By the way, if we had to get
genius.
down, it's her entire campaign. And it's the only real, actually, Boyle and I were talking about this right before. Like, if you break down her campaign, it's pretty simple, which is, you know what? My policies are not that different from Joe. And they keep trying to nail her on it. It's like, yeah, it's not that different from Joe. But I'm younger than Joe, right? Yeah. There's that. And
Joe Biden was the most progressive president like we've had in multiple generations.
Yes.
He himself is not, he doesn't like scream that. But when you actually look at his policies, like, that dude went hard.
That dude went hard in the paint, does not get the credit. even Kamala saying, I'm with that guy, is super progressive. People don't give her credit for that. But the other biggest challenge she had, and I'm sure David Plouffe showed her the numbers every single day when they were trying to figure out what this campaign was going to be all about and what her speech at the convention was going to be all about and how she was going to win these battleground states, was how the American public viewed her. They viewed her as a defund the police, San Francisco liberal who's going to let migrants come through the border. She's going to raise price. Like, that is the way the American public viewed her.
Surgeries.
Exactly. That's the way the American people viewed her. So what does she have to do? She had to very much overcompensate for that, in my opinion, because I don't think the way that she's running, I do think that Nate Cohen had a piece about how Kamala is actually running to the right of Joe Biden and to the right of Barack Obama.
Oh, for sure.
Like, she is running a very conservative campaign, and her campaign is reproductive freedom. Her campaign is freedom.
Yeah. That being the sort of the one, she's not going back to a conservatism that existed before Barack Obama.
True.
It's sort of almost like a little bit of Barack Obama 08. Because don't forget, like in 08, like he wasn't in support of gay marriage. Like he was actually pretty moderate in 08.
He was progressive in the ways that, well, gay marriage never was like a topic that that wasn't like a hot button issue in the moment.
Yes, it was.
Well, not in the debates,
about?
Like, because both sides were both just like, we're not going to talk about it.
But it's basically why George Bush won in 2004. Carl. I had a list when I was little. Did you know that? Anyway,
Carl is a very
Carl
hard.
Rove.
Do you know what other name I can't say that Trump has been talking about?
Huh.
Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer.
It takes me a long time to get Arnold.
Yeah, that double R situation. And my name's Carri, so that was really rough until I was about 8. But what's his name? Karl Rove.
Yeah.
His big claim to fame.
Turd Blossom, I believe. That was W's nickname for him.
So absurd.
Right? Am I making that up?
Speaking of which, Pete Souza. But let me get this thought out. So Karl Rove's claim to fame in 2004 was that he put all those Defense of Marriage Act ballot initiatives in 100%. Every battleground state and made it this hot button issue.
Made it an issue, right.
And forced Barack Obama to talk about it. It was a big deal in 2008.
Yeah. Okay, all right. What were we trying to say? Oh, we're trying to say Barack is not that progressive?
Yeah.
We should do a whole podcast on Barack Obama.
All right.
His legacy is so fascinating.
Yeah. Right now. And it's still unfolding. Imagine
so fascinating.
It must be kind of a nightmare to leave the White House and you're 50 years old and you're like, I'm going to have to be alive for another 50 years. Like, what am I going to do? Talk about being the high school quarterback. Like, what do you do after that for that long of a period of time?
I mean,
anyway, did you see Pete Souza? Pete called out W on Instagram, was like, bro, it's time for you to endorse Kamala Harris. Like
Pete Souza. Pete Souza calls him out.
The official White House photographer for Barack Obama.
Pete Souza, who terrorized all the photographers at that White House. Yeah, he was so mean to all of them.
So terrible. So terrible. But he at George Bush and posted a picture of him and Barack Obama hugging, I think, and was like, it's time for you to join your wife, your daughter, your campaign staff, your vice president, his daughter, and endorse Kamala Harris.
I mean, God bless you, Pete Souza, for drinking too much and being on Twitter. What is that going to do? Let's just be real. George W. Bush, Kamala's gonna win now.
No,
the George W. Bush endorsement.
I think it was just the principle of the matter.
I know, but I'm just I don't know. I don't think
every living president.
I don't think any of these things matter.
No, you didn't think Taylor mattered.
I don't think anything mattered. Taylor mattered.
At the beginning, you didn't think Taylor mattered.
In the beginning, I didn't. And then I saw those voter registration numbers, and I was like, "Oh, okay.
Okay, maybe mattered.
All right, maybe she mattered."
All right, this is so fun.
This was so fun.
I laughed so hard.
I know. This was a really fun one. I'm losing my mind, as you can tell.
Obviously, I am as well.
What? So give us a run by run. So you're heading back to the office.
Yeah.
You're getting ready for this rally.
I'm probably not going to go to the rally.
You're not going to go to the rally. Okay.
I'm just going to sit and work.
That was amazing. I'm probably just going to sit work. It's great. I just love the delivery. Yeah.
Yeah, I have so much to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And those rallies, my phone doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't do anything. Yeah. It's not like I'm operating the teleprompter. Like, they don't need me there.
Yeah.
I guess I could like engineer a reason to be useful at a rally.
Yeah.
But I went to the rally in DC. I went to her closing argument. I was supposed to be working there, but my phone didn't work. So I just had a great time.
It's great.
So I feel like I got my moment
experience
of seeing her on the big stage in a crowd and listening to the speech, because that was the only time I'd seen her. She's obviously been in Pennsylvania like 35 times, but I haven't been to any rallies. Or if I have been, I've been working in the back,
right,
playing basketball with Don Cheadle or something.
Right.
And
it's a tough life.
Tough life. And so but I feel like I got my experience of seeing her give her big speech was at the convention. Yeah. Like those things are
and I do think the DC rally that was it. That was 75,000
people. It was amazing.
I don't know how many people they're expecting tonight, but my guess is maybe not 75,000 people.
I'd be shocked. But like if they fill up that alley, I think it's outdoor for a reason. If they fill out the boulevard that leads up to the museum, like that's really amazing.
Who they need, see, Pete Souza, here's the thing. We need to win Pennsylvania. We do not need George W. Bush. We need Sylvester Stallone. That is who we need. Like, let's just be real. Like, how dope would that be if the special guest is like, and now, and like Rocky comes out with Michael B.
Eye of the Tiger. Yeah,
like
man.
Sly Stallone and Michael B. come out. And then you bring out some old school Eagles players, right? You bring out like Deshaun Jackson. You bring out a bunch of Julius Erving. Is Julius Erving still alive? I don't know. You bring out all these old school Philly heads. That's what you need. You don't need George W. Bush.
Where
you know
have
what I
you
mean?
been this whole time?
We need that.
So a bunch of Eagles players are already doing something. That's a great idea.
No, but you know, like
somebody's probably working on that.
You're on the Rocky steps.
I'm sure someone thought of that.
I know. I'm just saying she should have Kamala should just wear the like
Muay Thai
Apollo Creed, the like Apollo Creed shorts, the like red, white, and blue shorts. She just come out. Guys, this is why you should have hired me for Philly.
Honestly.
So good. This has been a ride. This has been a wild ride. This is the last pod before Election Day. We're going to have like a 3-hour marathon session, I think, the day Wednesday. After the election. I think we're going to have our boy Tom Bonnier back.
Yep.
I think talking through all the data. I think we're going to have our girl Marina Jenkins back to talk through all the legal challenges. We're going to go through it all, either, going through.
Open call. You in DC?
Exactly.
Got say on the pod?
Anyone wants to come. And after we finish that marathon pod, we are going to have a happy hour. Twigg and Jenkins are going to have a happy hour. We'll send out the details in our thing. You guys just come, show up, get some drinks. But this has been a wild ride. This has been so fun. This has been the most fun. And I hope people got some value out of me cursing every 5 minutes and Carri Twigg hating on JD Vance. You have to I feel like you need one final word for your guy JD. Like, you guys have gone through so much together. You went through the eyeliner. You went through the couches.
I just can't wait for him to lose. I just can't wait for what he deserves to come his way, which is a humiliating and soul-crushing loss, that he can then join his fellow vice presidential nominee candidates in obscurity for the rest of his career.
My favorite will be when they lose and Trump just blames JD Vance.
Oh, I know.
He's just going to be like, I shouldn't have picked JD.
And then we'll have to, run a candidate against him in Ohio for the Senate. Because he'll still get to be a senator.
He'll definitely
he's just going to go back to the Senate.
Oh, he stays in the Senate.
Doesn't he?
Oh, he doesn't have to. Oh, yeah, of course. He doesn't have to give it up.
Yeah. I mean, he was just elected 2 years ago.
Yeah, so he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I never watched his Rogan thing. That's like the last chirp I've heard out of him.
I will never watch that.
Yeah.
That is content I will never consume.
Right.
I'm not interested in that content. I would have loved to have seen a Rogan Kamala interview.
I know.
Here's my thing, though.
I hope she'll do it when she gets into office.
That's what I was just going to say. The other thing we should discuss is post-election day, none of this stuff goes away. None of this work that Twigg and I have been talking about goes away. All of the challenges that we've been discussing around how we even reach a point where tens and tens of millions of people are going to vote for Donald Trump. That's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so Yeah, she should go on Rogan next week.
Yeah, she totally should.
It'd be great.
I mean, maybe not next week, but I think when she's president, she absolutely should.
She should do it. She should also come on the Twigg and Jenkins podcast. Let's go. Guys, also so funny. I used to have a little podcast that it was just myself and I hate doing, but they were very early on of the the Biden White House. Kamala's team was like so looking for like any podcast to do that I literally got like an email like, hey, and I'm like, oh, I haven't done that podcast in like 4 years. So
no way.
So yeah,
she did Smartless really early.
Yeah, she should go. She should keep doing what she's doing.
She should.
She should keep going on late night. She should keep doing SNL, Daily Show, all this stuff. She has to keep doing, especially if, again, not to be a Debbie Downer. God, I keep ending on Debbie Downer. I don't know that we're going to take the Senate. I don't know that we might take the House. So even if Kamala Harris wins, legislatively, there's not going to be a lot that's going to be accomplished.
Yeah.
And so all of
Hearts
the sort
and
of
minds.
Yeah, all the sort of communication strategies we've been describing on the campaign she now has to do in a split Congress where all of these really tough issues remain, where 28% of the American public do not believe America's on the right track for a variety of different reasons. And so she's got to keep doing it, you know?
Great. We'll be here.
God bless you, Carri Twigg. Get back to Philly.
Thank you. I'm in Philly.
No, I mean, get back to that quarters.
Get back to the work. Yeah.
Twigg and Jenkins, we'll see you guys
Wednesday.
Well, probably Thursday. Oh, no, but come to our happy hour. We're doing a happy hour on Wednesday night. Anyone who's in DC, we'll send you guys information.
Great.
We should set up an email address. Okay. I love how we're doing housekeeping.
Yeah.
On the thing. We're gonna set up.
This won't end. This is close out.
We're gonna set up an email address, a twigandjenkins@gmail email address. If you've listened to the show and you want to come to the happy hour, because I don't think we can like say where it is, because then it might be like.
Have we booked it?
Yeah, well, got it. So email this email address that I think it'll be twigandjenkins@gmail. I'm sure that exists. And then say like, hey, my name is JD. I would really love to come to the Twigg and Jenkins.
You guys seem friendly.
you guys seem to like my jib, the cut of my jib. And be like, I'd love to come. And then we'll send you where it is.
Great. Perfect.
We did it. One more day. Yes.
Can I get a little bit this way?
This is like the last time. It's the last time we did a high five. The last time we went like this. We did it.
So stupid.
God bless America. Go vote. We didn't tell people to vote. They already voted. They listen to this podcast.